nice of you to join us, gentlemen.
It's not my fault, dude. It's the suits. What do you want me to do? Peter, what's going on, dude? How are you, man?
What's happening? I'm good. The timing of this conversation couldn't have been worse. What's going on with these Marlins?
I don't know, man. Well, that's why we bring you on. Like, what the hell is going on, man? Like, we come out of this this All-Star break. You get stomped by the Orioles. Okay, the Orioles are very good. I get it. But, like, what do you think? I hear Skip last night. He goes, look, some of the games that we were winning, now we're dropping them. What do you think has been the main issue coming out of the gate here so far?
I heard that post-game presser as well and spoke about it on yesterday's episode, Locked on Marlins, and they just look rusty. Like the team just came out of the All-Star break just straight up rusty. And then Arias hasn't quite been himself too. And, you know, he had to jet off to Seattle and do all the All-Star stuff. Like maybe Arias needed that little break himself. And, you know, that trip maybe didn't help him, didn't help Soler, but team looks a bit rusty. And the pitching side, I think it all just stems from that Eury Perez decision, sending him down. And now they're trying to manage that situation with a bullpen game in, you know, third game after the All-Star break. Like no one's throwing bullpen games 3 games after an All-Star break. And hey, the Marlins are doing it because they've got to manage Eury Perez. And we know that, but there's a bit of rust. Skip's right. Like the games they've been losing, they were winning them earlier in the year. But I think this stems from that Eury Perez decision. Like it's kind of scrambled their minds a bit. They're trying to manage that and they're not playing good ball. They're playing sloppy ball. So disappointing. 5 L's on the spin, mate. It's you know, discouraging. And going into the break, we're so high. Wildcard 1 spot, you know, by everyone, by Ohtani, by everyone. Now they're out of the wildcard spots already. So, it's turned around quick.
I would say that it's amazing because we would have a whole different conversation if the bullpen could have closed out some of these games because they're all close. And so while we're sitting here having this conversation of disappointment, if you had a stud at the back end of that pitching staff, we're having a whole different conversation. That's not going to change. So you're going to have a lot of these starts where your pitcher goes 6 or 7 strong innings, but it's a close game. And now I'm starting to worry that it's not necessarily a Eury Perez thing, but when he turns it over, or whoever turns it over to the bullpen, they've been struggling.
Yeah, they've been asked to do a lot this year as well, right? Like the pen has just been asked to do so much. In the first half, it was the phrase was nails. That's the phrase that everyone was using. I woke up this morning, I was trying to work out like what's the opposite of nails, because that's what we're seeing right now. Right. You know, I'm hearing people say AJ Puck, let's get Tanner Scott into the 9th. I need to remind everyone what happened last year with Tanner Scott in the 9th. And boy, oh boy, that was not good. So, you know, Puck's had a bit of a wobble. He's fine. He's a stud. The thing is, though, for this bullpen, like the back end, all the leverage arms, everyone's a lefty. They've got no diversity at the back of the pen. There's no righties to mix it up. And so when you just get lefty after lefty after lefty, 7th, 8th, 9th, you know, the eyes adjust, right? The hitters adjust. Next thing is, by the time it gets to Puck in the 9th or 10th, they've been seeing lefties for 3-4 innings, and they're teeing off. So the Marlins need to address this pen, back end, get them some help, get them some righty help, and get it immediately. Because
isn't that weird though? Like a bullpen that's all lefties.
Yeah. I mean, the whole roster's weird, right? I mean, the offense is ultimate contact, no power. No one else is building an offense like that, and the bullpen is all lefties, no righties. Like roster construction is pretty wild, but. You know, we're 9 games over 500. This is no time to panic. It's a bit of a wobble coming out. So, you know, this has been the best start for some time, but it remains an uphill task the rest of the way for the Fish. It is not a cupcake ride into August and September. They've got to play, you know, continue playing good ball. And they've got to add to this roster, you know, at the deadline. They absolutely have to, and they will.
Talking to Peter Pratt, and you guys can catch his work. Locked on Marlins podcast does a fantastic job. Peter, like, Bruce Sherman comes out a little bit before the All-Star break, you know, implies he's going to do whatever it takes to help improve this team.
Are you going to do this now?
What? Well, if it's going to take whatever.
Take me there.
There's a very highly touted, you know, potential free agent coming out. You know, he hits bombs. He shuts people down on the mound. Is it ridiculous? Hear me out on this. I say, look, it was a great run by Eury Perez. He ain't pitching for us right now. You got to give something to get something. I remember this very, very vividly with Giancarlo Stanton, Manny Ramirez. They never did it. They kept Giancarlo at the time, Mike Stanton, and they didn't trade for Manny Ramirez at the time. You give up a blue chipper for 2 months of fun with Shohei Ohtani to really try and take this thing home and see if you are serious about contending.
I'd love to do a deal of anyone else apart from Eury Perez. I'd happily empty the farm right out and just say, let's get Ohtani in the mix and let's just ride this 2023 rodeo. So I'm all in for that. The Marlins need a starter. They need a big stick. He fits the profile of any club. The Angels are selling Ohtani. They're going to trade him. They have to. It's malpractice if they don't. So Ohtani's going to go somewhere. The Marlins absolutely have the ammo to do it. Would they, to your question, would I do Eury Perez for Ohtani?
For 2 months.
For 2 months, because they're not going to re-sign him.
They're probably not going to sign him.
No. This is a pure rental. Are you going to do Eury Perez for 2 months? Would I do it? No.
Get your franchise back.
No, it would. But the Marlins have got so many arms. Like, could they survive without Eury Perez?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, it has to be a knock their socks off guy. This guy's already proven as the youngest pitcher ever for the Marlins, he can do it in the bigs. And now you got to limit his. All right, we got to limit his arm. Well, as a contender, I don't know what that means. Is he coming back? Is he not coming back? I get that I have to be safe with the guy, but this is not a time to be safe. And so I think it's a time to get reckless. And I think you really got to wow the Angels. And I want Ohtani. I want some fun for 2 months.
Yeah,
I want some fun too.
Keep in mind, he wants to trade the guy that has basically been your ace.
That's right. But he's not a race anymore. They left him. They've limited his innings.
But the circumstances dictate, like, you know how teams are, man. Go get a break. If it gets hot, how's Eury doing? Let's bring it back for a couple of starts. Or if we get into the postseason.
I would feel differently, Peter. Like, I don't know. I would feel differently if Eury if they were going to pitch him. Like, if they were going to use him in the bullpen, something like that. Like, I'd feel differently. But I think it's almost, you say malpractice for the Angels. I almost feel like it's malpractice to take a team that has been starving for winning, and you're handcuffed by this youth, which somebody else would very much value, and I would value Ohtani.
Yeah. I mean, anyone would value Ohtani.
Let's not make it sound like he's going to be here for a stretch. 2 months. And how would you feel if it didn't work out?
I would
still have fun. I'd have fun watching Ohtani.
I'd respect the risk.
Yeah. Oh, he sold you, Peter. No.
I would respect the risk.
Be strong. Be strong, Peter.
The perfect word he's got is recklessness. We want to see recklessness. We want to be entertained.
Well, let me introduce you to my reckless friend.
Yes.
He is reckless.
If that didn't, is there another name that wouldn't cost Eury Perez? Is there anybody out there that tickles your fancy that you'd be like, all right, that definitely could help? Like, is there anybody that's available or that maybe could be had that you think could be the perfect addition to this team to help them out?
I mean, the funny thing is they need tons. When you actually go and look at what they need, it's a lot, to be honest with you. Because just like we already mentioned, like the roster construction is kind of funky. Like this team is built in a weird way, and they just found ways to win. So, they need another outfielder. They need a third baseman. They need a starter. They need a bullpen guy, a righty. Like they need tons. And that's kind of the bit of the problem here. Do you just go for broke and say, sod it, let's get Ohtani in for 2 months? Or do you try to... You try to build, I don't know. Like there's loads of names. There's loads of rentals too. I think that's the beautiful thing is like there's a lot of guys that are acquirable at this point that can make an impact, but there's loads of teams that are looking to buy. And that's kind of the problem at this point. Like the seller pool is a little bit small. Like there's a lot of teams that feel in it. And I think that's kind of the problem here for the Fish. Like they needed some help 2 weeks ago, to be honest with you. And no one's selling. That's the problem. So we'll see. I always liked the idea of Cody Bellinger, to be honest with you, last offseason, thinking, lefty stick, can play center field. We don't know how Jazz is going to play out the rest of the way. I like that name. Candelario is everyone liking him at third. Catcher, they need something at catcher. Plenty of starting pitching. They need loads, the Marlins, to be honest with you. Like if you're building your ultimate team, but they're trying to do it their own way. So they'll add, but I'm not sure who they'll be.
It's amazing that usually this time of year, everybody's looking for left-handed pitching. So there should be somebody out there that's willing to take one of these arms off of the because all the Marlins have is left-handed pitching in the bullpen. So it seems like they have something that everybody else is looking for. You should be able to work out something.
There's a deal to be made. Like they got tons of arms, tons of lefties. You know, there's a deal to be done, no doubt.
Peter, before we get you out of here, man, has there been a thing aside from the obvious Arise? Is there a thing that you think is the most important for the Fish to get this right? Is it Sandy getting right? Is it just I don't know a back getting right? Like, what do you think is the most important thing for them to kind of get back on track here?
Sandy has been back on track, to be honest with you. Like there was a turning point a few starts ago, and Sandy is coming back. I mean, listen, this is the type of game today, a day game, 5 L's on the spin. Like it's a day for the ace to show up and absolutely deliver, and he's done that against St. Louis. So all the conditions are right for Sandy to go off. For me, like the Marlins just need Jazz back, and they need him back now, and they need him back healthy all the rest of the way. No freak injuries, no obliques, no turf toes. We need a legit all-star bat, a lefty bat back, and to stay healthy. And for me, that's a lot of the rest of the way hinges on whether Jazz can actually be there every day. Because that is, he's barely played this year. And we've said that so many times, year after year. We need Jazz to be back and delivering. So for me, that's the thing is, can they get him back out there and healthy for the rest of the way? Sandy, I think, has already turned a corner. What they're going to do with the starting rotation, but offense to me just hinges on Jazz. Get him back and get him rolling. And I think, he just makes this offense look and feel different when you've got a power stick that steals a ton of bags. So valuable.
Appreciate.
This is a more important question. Who you got for the Open Championship?
Oh, I think Rory's fired in. You know it.
He hates Rory's playing great golf.
Come on, dude.
You know who else is my other
How long has it been since a major? 8 years?
9 years. 8 or 9 years. But here's I told him he's the first player to win all the Opens in the world. Like all of them. I'm a big fan of Tommy Fleetwood.
Yeah.
He's a cool dude, isn't he?
He's a stud.
So cool. So we'll see. Yeah, I hope Rory wins.
Let's go.
Yes.
Peter, we appreciate it, man. Go check out Peter Pratt. His work, Locked on Marlins, does a fantastic job covering this team day in and day out. Thanks for the time, man. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. See you soon, guys.
All right. Thank you, Peter. We take
you don't realize how much people love Rory. You're hating on the guy that everybody loves.
He started it.
How did he start?
Took a shot at the Heat fans.
Oh my goodness. That's what you're gonna go with.
That's what it is. That's where my heart. That's where it starts from.